Met a few times on the European stage before. They met also in the German Darts Championship last year. That went the way of Lewis by 6 legs to 5. And also in the German Masters a couple of years ago, Gurney coming out on top 6-5. So history, recent history between these two on the European Tour stage suggests it could well be a close-run thing. Which way it will go remains open to question.
Well, they've both been operating at a similar kind of level so far this weekend. Gurney's seen off Boris Koltsov of Russia and then Mark Webster, both by 6-2 scorelines and both averaging round about that 93 mark. Adrian Lewis has been in the low 90s himself, saw off Ryan Searle, but did survive a match dart, but then kind of coasted past Nathan Aspinall, the UK Open champion, again this afternoon, that kind of looked like one of the picks of the ties, and then it never really turned out that way.
99.
One Euro Tour title apiece for these two as well. Gurney victorious in Hildesheim earlier this year. Lewis, you have to go a long way back for his only European Tour success. That was at the German Darts Masters in 2012. Big fish here for Gurney, not going to go.
Yeah, but he has been threatening on the Euro Tour since that win, Adrian Lewis, on a number of occasions, not least in Gibraltar last year, in that fascinating year watching Jackpot fight his way back up.
Yeah, after what was a couple of years almost in the European wilderness where he
didn't bother.
He didn't really bother with it. He turned up here and there, tried to put together enough money to make it to the European Championships, but just left himself with too much to do on both occasions. But he seems to have rediscovered his love affair with the European Tour stage once again, and why wouldn't you?
42.
This his first appearance in the Austrian Darts Open for Adrian Lewis. He's never played in this tournament before, and so far so good, through to the quarter-finals.
Daryl requires 70.
Well, Gurney has had 6 darts from 170. And the last 2 were really good. 1-0 to Super Chin.
Gurney, as you mentioned, up to the dizzying heights of number 3 in the world rankings, but Adrian Lewis is a man who feels if he can get his pace of play just about right, then he too will be able to return to the top 4 in the world rankings. He's 16th at the moment. He's up to number 6 on the Pro Tour order of merit.
180.
And there are those observers who feel that Lewis can indeed fulfill those ambitions of returning to the higher echelons of the world ranking table once again.
Yeah, well, I mean, you might be wondering how they seed in this when Adrian Lewis is 16th in the world and yet number 5 seed here. We've got different ranking lists. So the overall world rankings done over how well you do in over 2 years in all tournaments, including the big ones on the telly. Whereas this one is the Pro Tour order of merit. That's just 1 year, 12 months of the Pro Tour events. So not your big TV events like the Worlds and the match play and all that. Just it's these events and the Players' Championship stuff. So these two obviously doing excellently on those events. As AD looks at tops. No panic.
45.
Still no panic just yet.
Yeah,
so that shows you that Adrian has been doing some really good stuff away from the TV cameras for a long while now to be right up there as number 5 in the seedings here. But where you get the big money are the TV events, and that is why Daryl Gurney, winner of the Players' Championship Finals, 100 grand on his ranking, up to number 3.
And of course the Pro Tour order of merit is used to determine the qualification for some of these TV majors as well.
100. Adrian, you require 20.
Well, again, we're seeing one player race off on his own throw and then take a little while to get to a winning double. But they do eventually get there. Of course, Daryl Gurney won the World Grand Prix, his first major title, a couple of years ago. So that's 100 grand there, but that will be coming off his ranking
83.
because the 2-year period will come to an end this year. However, you know, he's throwing darts that suggest that the big TV tournaments, there could be plenty of money to be earned. And there is more money on the tour up for
59.
grabs this year. But of course, Daryl Gurney 2017 was a fabulous year for him, making deep runs in lots of major tournaments. But he's you know, safely ensconced in the top 16. Whatever happens, even if money comes off, he has some early exits, so he should be able to just relax and play his darts.
And of course, as Gurney has found, success in TV majors and the like
78.
brings further success, further lucrative spin-offs in the shape of the Premier League and invitations onto the World Series stage as well. And Gurney has really made the most of those opportunities of late as well.
96.
Certainly in this year's Premier League.
There we go, Adrian, a second 180. And are we going to see a real challenge on the Gurney throw?
140. Daryl, you require 122.
Starting on the 18s here for Gurney. 4 of them leaves him a shot at the bullseye. He's got 3 of them. And it is the bull.
79.
Didn't really get
Adrian, you
near it.
require 84.
Yeah, it just looks a little bit laboured, that final dart, but Lewis can step in here for a break of throw. He too is now looking at the bullseye. That was a bit closer.
Daryl, you require 43.
Single 11 for double 16. Loves this part of the board.
35.
But it doesn't work for him on this occasion.
Adrian, you require 25.
Well, he's had an 18-dart hold. This could be a 17-dart break of throw for Adrian Lewis, who steals a march on Daryl Gurney and gets his nose in front
Game on.
and leads 2-1. Was he acknowledging a slice of good fortune there with the raise of the hand? I'm not quite sure what that was meant to indicate.
Well,
It's often what players do when they feel they've had a good stroke of fortune. They hold their hand up and acknowledge it. But
I'm not sure Adrian Lewis would have anticipated being 2-1 up and throwing for a 3-1 lead, averaging 82 at this stage of this one. But we haven't seen the best from these two so far this weekend, which is curious because of the way they've played of late. You kind of expect them to be going up there and providing a certain level of performance. Still time for them to
100.
click into gear, though.
yeah, averages of 92 and 93 in his opening 2 matches for Gurney. He's significantly down on that at this stage of the match, around about the 84
59.
mark.
You know, just look what he's doing in the Premier League week in, week out, where he's averaging 96.5 and beaten Van Gerwen a couple of times in a very good spot to make it to the O2. That's picture perfect from Jackpot, though. He's fired in 3 maximums. There'll be no
59.
apology at the end of this leg. If the 98
98
goes, I can assure you of that.
No, I suspect not. Well, they'll just let this one lay up for tops. Gurney is miles away on 3-2-3. I think he may already be thinking about the next leg.
93. Adrian, you require 40. Game shot the 4th leg. Adrian Lewis. 5th leg Daryl.
14 darts for Adrian Lewis, his best leg of the match so far. And that was comfortable.
$140.
You often find that in a tournament whereby if a player does eventually go through the field and prevails in the final, you can often look back to the opportunity where he could have fallen by the wayside
96.
early on. And as you said, that missed match start by Ryan Searle in the 9th leg of their meeting in round 2. That could well have been the turning point for Lewis this weekend if he does go on to the final, or indeed beyond that, and lift the trophy.
100.
Yeah, well, he certainly, when he lifted the trophy in Hildesheim, it was the quarter-final against Stephen Bunting that was not particularly impressive. It was his worst display of the weekend.
45.
He was averaging pretty much sort of 98 to 100 all the way through the weekend, and 95 against Rob Crossbert, a 6-2 win. But it was that Stephen Bunting game which he only edged through in a last leg decider and
57.
didn't even manage to break the 90 mark. Sometimes there will, even when you're playing well, there might have to be a game which you win ugly if you're going to go on and claim the title. Van Gerwen has certainly won a game very,
46.
very ugly in the opening one of this evening.
$100. Daryl, you acquire 104.
Yeah, Lewis's second dart average is significantly down on his first dart average, and it was evident there as well. He hit a really good first dart but couldn't back it up.
63.
Gurney in pole position to claw a leg back here on his throat and trim the deficit to 3-2.
134.
Great last dart there from Adrian.
Daryl, you acquire 41.
Single 9 for double 16. It didn't work for him before, but it works for him this time.
Daryl Gurney. Sixth leg Adrian to throw first. Game on.
Well, there's not much in this one. Not much in the averages. Not much in the stats. Not much in the finishing stats. The only real
100.
big difference we've seen is Adrian Lewis has piled in 3 maximums and Daryl Gurney's yet to hit 1. There you see, that's helping the first 9 average for Adrian. But there's been some not particularly
140.
impressive stuff from him at the back end of legs. There you see.
And one of those 180s came in the leg where he broke in leg 3. But aside from that 180, that was a
58.
scruffy leg from Lewis as well. He had visits of 59, 78, 59, but got the job done.
Just neither of them have got into much of a
100.
groove in this game. It is all about who can turn it on in this evening session, though. Anybody out of the 8 players we had are capable of just turning up and playing
41.
fabulous darts for the evening and walking away with the title. The only unseeded player we've got in action tonight is Steve Beaton, and he's won one of these European Tour titles before.
140.
1-2-1 checkout left for Gurney to break the throw and level the match. Lewis is not even going to be on a finish.
56.
So
Daryl, you
Gurney,
acquire 121.
what route does he go?
$53.
Yeah, well, it made sense to go for the 16s. He blocked the treble 20.
$100.
There
Daryl,
again,
you
that
acquire
second dart just
68.
letting him down ever so slightly. But Gurney looking at 68 for a break of throw, now looking at 48, and now looking at double 16. That's an excellent marker,
Game
and
shot
he
the
uses it
sixth leg.
really well.
Daryl Gurney.
3-3. Gurney back on terms, back in business, and back in the hunt.
Seventh leg Daryl to throw first. Game on.
That was more like it from Daryl Gurney. Best leg of the match so far for him, a 15 darter. Not spectacular, but solid and consistent.
60.
Crowd seem to be drawing their collective breath once again after that opening match of the evening session. Michael Van Gerwen coming through in a last leg decider once again, this time at the expense of Peter Wright.
96.
To make it through to the semi-finals on the European Tour stage once again.
Well, there is still a possibility
99.
of an all-Stoke final between Adrian Lewis and Ian White, something we have seen before, because that's what happened when Adrian won his Euro Tour title. Long way to go, and of course
60.
the winner of this has to beat Michael Van Gerwen. Gerwen, Price and James Wade Up next, we'll see the Grand Slam champion take on the European champion, and there is not a great deal of love lost between those two. That could be fiery, which is kind of the opposite of what we've got here, because it's just a bit
pedestrian.
Yeah, anodyne. Just
89.
there's no spark, is there?
Yeah, and the crowd are just trying to generate some energy inside the arena.
100.
It's a very cautious match, this. A very safety-first approach from both players. There's no real aggression on display. I think that may well change if we go into a situation where we find ourselves at 5-4 and beyond.
140. Adrian, you require 158.
Unless Lewis can just inject some pace here with this 158, but that's not going to happen either.
134. Daryl, you require
Not the next best
56.
prize, leaving himself on a double.
Game shot the
It wasn't the most convincing of single 16s, but the double top was found, and Daryl Gurney, the scoring isn't quite there, but the finishing has been pretty decent so far.
121.
And the significant thing for Gurney, even though he's produced a couple of 17 dart legs and a 15 dart leg as well, is that he's won 3 on the spin now, and he just has that little bit of momentum
95.
behind him. It's not an irretrievable situation, this, for Lewis by any stretch. Is Mark Wilson still here? His little boy must be shattered. He's been here every session, right to the end.
83.
Oh, I think he's probably cheering on Michael van Gerwen. Big MVG fan, his little Jensen.
58.
Of course, no school tomorrow either, so he can do what he likes. He can stay up all night.
Got the Rob Malarkey seal of approval. I know your parents are here and everything, but Rob Malarkey says you do what you want, mate.
99.
You go wild.
Head into town later on. Take your mum and dad with you. See the sights. He did fall off a chair last night, that little lad, by the way. I think that was through
94.
fatigue more than anything else, rather than excess orange juice.
Right.
It's hard work watching darts for 10 hours, especially in this arena. Drains the energy out of you.
138.
Freezing cold outside, but inside it's very, very warm once again. Just waiting for this match to heat up as well. Gurney with the lead, but
100.
Lewis
Adrian,
looking
requires
primed
60.
here to level things up once again at 4 legs apiece.
Yeah, just moves back to the centre of the oche. Right decision, I think.
50.
Although
Daryl,
it
you
doesn't
require
work for him.
154.
Just a moment of brilliance could turn this game irretrievably Gurney's way here. It's not going to happen. I just don't look that likely to produce something like that at the moment.
94. Adrian, you require 10. Game shot the 8th leg.
Well, it is
Adrian
4-4, and
Lewis.
just going back to that Searle match the other day for Lewis, there was a moment where he was trailing in that one, but he produced a 130 checkout to level things up at 3 apiece, having trailed 3-1, and it really just put a lot of fire in his belly, and he never really looked out of sorts after that. He was in trouble after that again, of course, facing that match start, but he looked to be in a much better place. But he's still looking a little bit out of sorts here.
60.
He admitted himself that he wasn't anywhere near his best against Nathan Aspinall as well earlier today, despite what the 6-1 scoreline might suggest. Don't think that really tells the full story.
Yeah, suggested that he and Nathan had played as poorly as esteemed MC had played guitar and sang earlier.
That's a brutal appraisal from
It
Adrian
was,
Lewis.
and then if it wasn't brutal enough, he
100.
threatened to sing himself if he wins the title. I don't think that's going to be an issue if he's going to average 85 all night, but it might still be enough to win this game.
58.
And is that something we'll be hanging around to broadcast and film later on?
If Adrian Lewis wins, I suggest we should.
45.
But if Adrian Lewis wins a title, then he's going to have to do a lot better than this. We know he's got it in him. We've seen it, and we've seen it lately.
100.
But this is not it.
Daryl, you require 136.
Yeah, we saw him do it lately when he beat
44.
Barney in one of those Players' Championship events. It was the 25th PDC title of his career.
Yeah, special achievement. The highlight being his semi-final win over Johnny Clayton, where he averaged close to 110. That real explosive A.D. Lewis stuff that we know is there. But he can't unlock it here. I mean, he's just struggling so much. And Daryl Gurney's being allowed to just plod towards the semi-finals.
Daryl, you require 92.
A fifth successive visit of 100 or fewer. Most of them have been fewer. Gurney looking at 92.
Double
he's
six.
now looking at double six for a 5-4 lead.
80. Adrian, you require 150.
Is there just one visit, one moment that might be the difference? It's not happening, and he can't understand it. Not sure I quite understand it.
90. Daryl, you require 12.
Well, if you come inside, this is where it can get really awkward. So if you are going to miss outside. But don't miss too many times, Daryl.
Game shot the ninth
Excellent
leg.
final dart for Daryl Gurney, who, well, looks a little bit sheepish as he celebrates that one as well. He knows it's not been convincing, he knows it's not been great, but it's enough. It's another dart at a double, and it takes him to within one leg of a place in the semi-finals of the Austrian Darts Open. Quarter-finalist on 2 occasions. He's never gone beyond the last 8 here, or in this tournament, Daryl Gurney. But he's on the brink here.
60.
Quarter-finalist on one occasion in Vienna. Quarter-finalist 12 months ago, or a little over 12 months ago, when he lost to Mensur 6-1.
108.
Well, it's his 4th maximum, but it's the first for 7 legs. Maybe
99.
if Jackpot can just take something into a last leg decider, he's got a chance. Last time out in the Euro Tour, we saw all 4 quarterfinals go to last legs. We saw a semi-final lineup which went 7-6 and then 7-5. And it was a fantastic
27.
session, not just for the drama, but the high quality as well. It has not been high quality so far tonight, but it could be pretty dramatic.
85. Adrian, you require 160.
Well, I think both players' mantra will be a win is a win at whatever cost here now. Lewis will not take the 160, but he has a little bit of time to work with here with Gurney on 257, and he's down to double 10, so it looks as though we are going to go all the way once again here.
97.
11 legs in the opening match of the night, and we may well be on course for 11 legs in this one as well. Adrian Lewis looking at double 10 to take us into a decider. Gurney would have the throw in that decider.
Oh, I mean, how do you hit
My
that?
word.
How do you hit that?
Now here,
Can you even see it?
if this finds its way through, this would be incredible.
No score.
Well, it's not a bad effort, to be fair, but I mean, he needed
Daryl, you require
a
160.
boomerang and a periscope to find his way through to that. And this is a chance to win it. It was.
60. Adrian, you require 20.
Well, the first dart got him into trouble in the last visit.
Game shot
First
the
dart
10th
gets him out of
leg.
trouble
Adrian
in this
Lewis.
visit. And we are going all the
11th
way
deciding
once
leg,
again.
Daryl to
And believe it or
first.
not, we're going all the way with the 2 guys averaging
Game on.
pretty much the same. And it's lower than what we had in the first quarter-final, which I didn't think was going to be likely, to be honest.
Well, I think both players will reflect on this match as one that they would rather forget fairly quickly and move on to the next one.
140.
Put this one behind them, move on to the semi-final, and hope and pray that they can produce a much improved performance against Michael van Gerwen, whoever comes through this decider. 140 for Gurney.
96.
Just the 96 for Lewis.
Well, Gurney did go out in the German Darts Grand Prix in a last leg decider
60.
to Rob Cross, but it was a higher quality game than this. And to be honest, in this match, 200 scored in 2 visits ain't bad going.
41.
137 from 6 darts, however, for Lewis is not what he needed in this decider. And Gurney has the advantage now.
99.
Well, it's again very pedestrian, very ploddy, just straight and true for Daryl Gurney.
100.
Well, Gurney, his finishing has been all right. The scoring has not been good enough, but
100.
steady 1 treble visits, they will suffice in a game like this. And look at that, Adrian's so frustrated, even when the first dart is where he wants it. Just there, gave you the zoom. Oh
70.
my word.
Yeah, not for the first time tonight, and in fact not for the first time in this leg. He has found his way into the treble 3.
Bullseye. Single 17 to leave tops.
62.
And match darts coming in for Daryl Gurney. He's 5 out of 11 on his doubles, so with 3 darts in his hand, this should be wrapped up 6-5, and the world number 3 should join the world number 1 in the semi-finals. But is there another twist in this tale as Superchin lines up double top?
Game shot
And Daryl Gurney finds double 10.